G'day everyone, welcome back to Sully's Rods and Customs. Today I'm going to show you how to test your fuel injectors to see if they're operational and to also test to see their spray pattern. As you could probably see from, I'll just get this light here, I'll show you something. Just turn this little light on here, see if we can get some light in the subject here. I'm not sure if you can see in there now. Inside that fuel injector there, you can see some little ports in there, some little spray holes. So those little holes in there are what spray the pattern in your runners on your manifold, and it gets sucked in the engine for the combustion process. So I got some problems with that engine over there, and it seems to be flooding when I try to start it. I think that problem is coming from a faulty injector. So I have the 4 injectors here. I've taken them out. So what I've done so far to this one is I've just stripped the bottom seal off. I noticed the old seals on these, the O-ring is really flat. I'm not sure if you can see that very well. Compare that to that O-ring beside it there, which is the new one. So it seems to be fat and flat, which means I had a few drips of fuel on that engine over there. And I also noticed that one of these O-rings has a bit of a nick in the side of it. So maybe that caused the leak, I'm not sure, but it's leaking internally in one of these 4 that I've taken out now, or one of the 4 that are still in the engine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook it up to this little test box I bought here, this injector tester. So it just plugs in to the top here. You have, I don't know what brand this is, some cheap Chinese brand, I'm not sure what it is, but I've heard some reviews that it works well. So connect up negative, connect up positive, you can see it power up, and then when you set the mode, you can, mode 1, it'll just pulse short, mode 2, it will pulse long, you can see all that green light's on as well, the pulsing's happening, medium, pulse 3, it's pulsing, so there's 4 different spray patterns on this thing. It goes up to 8, but there's only 4, and it just repeats those 4. You also get these two adapters here, which fit the fuel injectors. So the O-ring pushes into this hole here. You plug a pair of these short, these small cables into the top of it. So there's an active and a neutral there, and those little pins on the top of here fit those pins in those lugs fit those pins in the injector. So I'll zoom in with the camera a bit, and I'll show you how that process works. Just give me a second here. I'll just turn this down to there. That's probably too close. All right, there you go. You should be able to see pretty much what I'm doing here now. And I'll put that. I'll just turn that light off. It's not adding too much to it. So what you got to do is buy a can of Carby cleaner, or Carby and choke cleaner. This is the Abro brand, and what it does is that you take the lid off it, and that fits into this little hole on the top of here, and it pretty much just squirts the Carby cleaner straight through the nozzle and out here, and at the end there is where you'll have your fuel injector in the hole. So you push it into the hole like that, you connect up the active and the neutral pins or lugs to the pins in the top of the injector here. I'll get closer so you can see it. That's how it looks. So it's got some heat shrink around it, and they say in the instructions that you have to hold this injector quite tight with a pretty good pistol grip, and you've got to hold it over a container. I've got some WD in there for lubricating these. So what I'll do is I'll show you this process. Right, that's pressurized now, and if I press this on mode 1, it should, see how it does a short pulse. Mode 2, mode 3, mode 4 is continuous shot. So that that injector looks like it's spraying really well. So, and it's not leaking at all. So that's a pretty good one. Let's try the next one. Active and neutral on there. Get some of that around the O-ring so it slips in. Hold the pistol grip tight again. Give it a squeeze. Yep, that's a good pulse. Yep, pulse is good. Fast pulse if you're accelerating hard. Continuous, I'm guessing if you're on just cruising along. So again, that works pretty well. Just got to be really careful. I should probably put a rag around this thing because when you remove it, it sprays out. And I can see the carby cleaner on top of here. It's quite, I don't know, corrosive to cheap plastics. This is just a cheap injector tester. As you can see here, it's just a cheap one I got from China. Like most things, I didn't want to spend $1 million on it just to test these out, I guess. And if I had serious issues, I could have taken it to a mechanic that does ultrasonic cleaning of injectors, but I just wanted to play around it myself. It's a little tool I'll have forever as well, until the carby cleaner eats it all away at least. Anyway, let's go back to mode 1. Let's go to that short burst. Yep, that works good too. And continuous. Yep, that's good. You'd be surprised how much pressure that can builds up in there. So that held pressure pretty well as well. So let's test this other one. There was no bypass of it. If none of these leak, I'll have to take it over and put them back on there and test the other 4. I've got to test them anyway, but let's get this going again and make sure it works first. Yep. Oops. Hold that quite tight there. Oh, there you go. Look, you can see how the stuff is still leaking out the end there. It works well in all its patterns, but internally it's got some issues because that shouldn't continuously leak out the end there. So one of the things I was telling you about there was the engine was flooding. Once I ran it and test started it, this was a new O-ring I put on top of this one because the other one had a tear in it. Might as well keep that O-ring now because this injector's actually shot. What I'll do is I bought a new O-ring kit for it. It comes with all the O-rings for redoing it. It came with the small O-rings which suits this injector. It comes with the larger ones actually no, it just comes with these ones. The larger ones, there was a spare set I had. I didn't know which size were on these until I pulled it out, but they're all the small ones and they match. So what I'll try and do now is, this injector's shot to shit anyway. I need to try and pull out that strainer in the top there, and I'll test it again because that could be full of crap and stuff. So just let me pause the video for a sec. I'll see if I can pull that strainer out. Sometimes you can just put a screw in there and pull them out. Sometimes you've got to force them out, but and we'll test it again. Give me a second. So I tried to just pull the strainer out with the long nose pliers. I thought I'd be able to grab it and pull it out, but it wouldn't come out. So what I had to do was I put a screw into it, and the screw went in the top. When I pulled it out, the bottom of the strainer, which looks pretty dirty and shitty. I'm hoping that this thing was already damaged in the bottom there, but it looks pretty bad. I'm going to have to buy some new strainers for it before I put it back together. But now it's out, I can see inside the injector. I'm just going to give another test and see how that goes while that strainer's out, to see if it's any better. If it's not, then I still know that the injector is toast. If it works, then maybe that strainer was caught inside internally somewhere. Sounds okay. Let's give it a hit with this and see what happens. Oops, that's not good. Well, it's not leaking yet. There you go, it's leaking continuously. The injector's stuffed. I might actually take it somewhere, see if I can get them to run it through their ultrasonic bath maybe something internally is stuck. I look at it with this light here, and I can't see anything internally there that would affect it. Looks like there's a bit of shit in there actually. Maybe that strainer or filter did fail and the stuff stuck in the bottom of it there, but anyway, I'll take it somewhere. I can put it in the ultrasonic bath, test it out. I'll put my new O-rings on it, put some new strainers in it. If it fails and it doesn't come good, I'll get some new ones. Always need a good excuse to buy new parts for your car, eh? Anyway, like I mentioned before, that's that process done. That was done for that engine. These were actually fitted to these fuel rails from Aeroflow. These are the ones I mentioned to you before. I bought them online through eBay, through a supplier there. They turned up, scratched the shit house. I was really disappointed. They gave me a 15% discount on them, which I think was crap, really. I should name and shame them. It's a really crappy response. They said I could send them back, but then I couldn't do any test work on the engine without these. I would have to wait weeks for new ones to turn up. So I ran them on the car. I just figured I'd run them. I run them on the engine. I just figured I'd run them while I'm doing this testing, and then when I'm finished, I'll just buy a new set and just not buy anything from that supplier again. So just buyer beware. Make sure they're a reputable company and they have good backup service. If you want to know personally what the company is, drop me a message. I'll tell you who it was, and you can be wary when you're buying stuff. But I'm not going to broadcast it online, although I probably should. Anyway, that's the video. So if you like what I do here, hit the like button, share it around with your mates, someone that might be having some injector issues. If it's a friend of mine, hit me up. I'll lend you a little test jig. You can test your own and clean your own. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe and get all the videos that I put out as I rebuild this motor. So that motor, just about to order the parts for it. Got a couple of $1,000 worth of parts coming for it. So I'll get that video happening as soon as all the parts start arriving. You'll be able to watch the teardown and then watch the rebuild process. So keep an eye out for that. See you next time.